Hey guys, it's Key and Wild here. If you remember from last time, we're stuck on this beach, and until we can get off, we're gonna have to survive here, working together as a team. And it's my job to make the fire. So I've come out here into the woods, and I'm gonna collect some firewood, and then go ahead and make the fire. You're watching Trail Hacks. In a survival situation, one of the most important things to have is a good fire. And in some climates, it can be the difference between life and death if you're somewhere really cold. But here in Florida, where it's nice and warm, we're not in that danger, but we do need a fire to cook our food. Now, the first step to making a fire is pretty obvious. You have to get the firewood. There's actually 3 types of firewood that you need to get: the tinder, the kindling, and the fuel. Aha, perfect. So the first piece of firewood you need is the tinder. And this is really small firewood, and it's what you're gonna use to get the fire just started. And it needs to be about the size of a pencil lead. And this looks perfect. Now, you don't want a branch that's green in the middle. It's not gonna burn, it's just gonna cause smoke. So a good way to figure out if it's dry enough is to break it. Oh yeah, hear that? In environments where it's wet on the ground, you're gonna wanna look up for your tinder, where all the dead, dry branches are. All right, so this is 1 handful of tinder. You're gonna wanna get 2 of these for your fire. Whoa, guys, look at this. Perfect. Now, we said that tinder needs to be about the size of a pencil lead, and kindling needs to be about the size of a pencil. And this is perfect. You're gonna wanna get about 4 handfuls of this stuff. All right, so now we have tinder and kindling, but that's not gonna last for long. That'll get the fire going, but next we need some fuel. So this is fuel. It needs to be about the size of your finger. And you want to get about 4 armloads of this stuff. Guys, come here. Oh, this is beautiful. Pine sap. Now this is a great trail hack, guys. Whenever you're trying to start a fire, the hardest part is getting that first flame going. So if you can find something to help your tinder get going, something like pine sap here, then it's gonna make starting a fire a breeze. This stuff's super sticky, so I'm gonna use a stick here to kind of scrape off a big chunk of it. It's so important, guys, that when you're starting a fire, you do it in an open area. You don't want the fire to spread, catch trees, catch what's on the ground, and start a forest fire. So I would recommend having about a 10-foot radius for your fire of cleared out space where there's no trees overhanging. And so I found this spot right here. It's pretty wide open. I'm gonna clear the leaves off the ground, and it's gonna work really good. While I was scraping the leaves away, I found a centipede. So it's just always good to be careful and watch out where you're going. The next step is to make a fire ring about 3 feet wide, and that'll just keep the fire contained. Now usually you'd use rocks to make that, but here on the beach, I looked around, there's no rocks. So I'm just gonna kind of dig a little bit of a hole here, and that'll do basically the same thing. The moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to start the fire. Now there's a lot of ways to start a fire, but I'm gonna use this one method. It works pretty good, I've used it before. And basically I'm gonna put kind of 2 large pieces of fuel in between there. And that's gonna kind of act as these 2 walls. And so my fire starter, I'm gonna put in the middle, and I'm gonna stack my tinder right above it. We have our oxygen, that's all around us, and now we have our fuel. So the last thing we need to do is add the heat. And thankfully, part of our top 10 essentials is waterproof matches. We take these everywhere we go. And so now I'm ready to get started. Wow, that pine sap was amazing. And it smells like a candle, it smells amazing. So now I'm putting my tinder on. Oh yeah, look at that, it's catching beautifully, it's so dry. So this is gonna burn really fast. You gotta make sure that while you have your flame going, start adding some kindling onto that, and finally fuel. A good way to gauge to see if your fire is getting too big is to get a stick and find one that's about half the length of your fire well. Stick it into the ground next to your fire. And if the flame goes above that, then it's too big and you knock it down. So see this? Yeah, the flame's going way above that stick. So I need to start making it a little bit smaller. Fire is essential to survival, but at the same time it's very dangerous. So if you don't have experience lighting fires, let someone older go ahead and start the fire and take care of it, because you can get seriously injured by fire. On a survival situation, the last thing you want is to get hurt. Thanks for watching Trail Hacks. Like or subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video. And if you're interested in joining your local troop of trail life, go to traillifeusa.com. And if you want to see more adventures of me and my brothers, go to wildbrothersproductions.com.